So I am the co-founder of smallTalk, and my background is in commercializing novel diagnostic tests, medical devices, and therapeutics to predict and prevent preterm birth. Natalie Maitre, my co-founder, I met when she was at Nationwide Children's Hospital. She's now at Emory. She is a neonatologist, but before that, she was a neuroscientist. And her first child had a very lengthy stay in the NICU, has cerebral palsy. And she was, as a neuroscientist, alarmed at the lack of attention paid to brain development during her child's stay. So this is what a NICU looks like versus a well baby clinic, right? And you can imagine when the parents go home without their baby, all of us as humans can relate to that problem very, very easily. It's an emotional problem. But I want you to think about it differently. And I want you to think about it as a developmental problem. It's a brain problem. Babies that spend more than a couple weeks in the NICU have roughly doubled rates of mental health challenges before adulthood, and roughly 4 times the rate of speech, language, and neurodevelopmental outcome problems compared to their peer babies that don't spend time in the NICU. It's not a side effect of their early delivery. And it's not just preterm babies. There's a variety of reasons to be, but the majority of babies in the NICU are preterm. It's a side effect of being in the NICU itself. The NICU itself is damaging to the developing brain. It's a stressful environment. As an ICU, alarms, let's wake you up for a painful procedure. So you can imagine for an infant, this is tremendously troubling. And during a really critical time in brain development, their brains are awash in stress hormones. So another key thing, when you're born, you start to wire your sensory system. And that is a foundational part of brain development. But you're in a sensory overload position. And even more important, where we're going to focus is a lack of directed speech, a lack of voice exposure. Again, when you're born, literally immediately upon birth, the child begins to take infant speech that's directed to them and wire their brain to process speech sounds, which is a foundational part of brain development. So we have a solution to improve brain development in preterm infants. When cleared, will be the first product to improve brain development in preterm infants. And we're going to harness the voice of the mother or the primary caregiver and really engage the parent in the care of their child. And this is really a key part of how we're doing this. So this here is a therapist. This is a still from a Netflix series called Babies, where Natalie, my co-founder, is featured in season 2, episode 3. That speaker device in the upper right there, this is a prototype you see in the photo here, but this is it. You can come back and see it in the back of the room. So that holds, we record the mom's voice via an app in the hospital or via her smartphone. Lullabies, songs, stories. We coach her on infant-directed speech. What does your baby really want to hear? Which is a lullaby, actually. And then that baby is using a little sensor device that we also make. Fits into the back of a disposable. This is a Philips pacifier. And now that baby right there is engaging with their mother's voice, using something that they can do willfully and intentionally, which is their suck. They can change their suck strength. The speaker is setting and automatically adjusting a threshold to engage the baby. So when they hit that suck strength threshold, they get 10 seconds of their mother singing a lullaby to them. And then it fades away. So they need to engage. So that back and forth, that sort of tennis match is really, really critical, an active learning concept. So sounds really interesting, but doesn't really work. Like, geez, Dean, you're a sales and marketing guy. I'm not sure I believe you. So we have conducted 3 randomized controlled studies plus a feasibility study. 2 of our RCTs are published in peer-reviewed literature. Our third and largest of 200 babies is now pending publication at the Journal of Pediatrics, demonstrating that this contingent exposure to voice versus just listening to voice passively improves speech sound processing, brain development. Speech sound processing is a biomarker of brain development. So that baby there is wearing a net of sensors, and they're hooked up to an EEG machine. We're watching electrical signals in their brain, and they're being exposed to computer-generated speech sounds, time-locked. And so we're able to really measure how good you are at processing speech sounds. We do that at the beginning of a clinical study and then at the end, and that's how we measure the difference. We've met with the FDA. We've agreed upon a labeling. We've agreed upon a clinical pathway, a de novo 510K, and we expect clearance in late 2026 We're just short of 50% enrolled in our multi-site clinical study with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. For my investors, future and current, this is non-dilutive capital. All the taxpayers in the room, thank you so much. $2.5 million grant from the NIH has funded the product development that you've seen, a quality system that we're integrating right now, pivotal clinical study that's ongoing, and our regulatory work with the FDA. We are going to market before that clearance. When we don't have that pacifier, this itself is not a medical device. This is just a speaker that holds mom's voice, primary caregiver's voice, and can be placed with the baby in the incubator or the open crib, 28 weeks and older. So that's what we're going to go to market with in April of this year. I'm raising capital right now to fund that transfer to manufacturing and start commercialization. So the speaker device and then our 2 companion apps, and that's how we work with our hospitals. Our go-to-market work, all of our revenue, our business model is basically a subscription model, product as a service, annual recurring revenue. These first contracts with the NICU Egg alone, they're very modest. For UH, it's going to be around $7,500 a year. We'll give them about 12 or 15 speakers. All their babies that need it get exposed to it. When that baby's done, graduates, the device gets digitally clean, physically clean, it's ready for the next baby. When we bring that active egg, okay, the pacifier activated version, the passive eggs won't disappear. They're there for all babies, anytime, once or twice a shift during wakeful time. The nurse presses the button. I'm way behind. The active egg is just for certain babies, therapy 20 times across 2 weeks, certain gestational age. That'll be about a $35,000 annual contract, 95% plus margins. So they will coexist together. We're going to market trade shows, professional meetings, NICU parent organizations, prematurity support organizations. We're working with them to engage parents as brand ambassadors to bring this device to a NICU that's not equipped with our solution. Now they're in our lead system, and we can work with them to meet the needs of all their babies. Everything we do is remote, very cost-effective, and we have a professional education, CE accredited, infant-directed speech in the NICU ready to go. It is a large market opportunity and a global market opportunity. We're focused in the United States in a year 5 revenue of $45 million. Actually, my pro forma right now says 51, because I keep messing with it. We've published data. We have issued and pending patents. We have the grants, and we're ready to launch. This is this timeline on the left. This is what we're doing with the seed capital. I'm closing on over $500,000 next week. Any of you accredited investors in the group, we're looking to fill the balance of that by the end of Q1. That'll get us out the door, product market fit with this first product. We'll raise a Series A in 2026 and bring the FDA cleared version to market. And then that'll be enough capital to get to profitable growth and exit. My background, Natalie's background I've shared. Jess is in the back of the room. Jess is our Director of Product and Brand Strategy, Project Management, all of our parent-facing stuff. And Annalisa Perfetto is a PhD in Language and Learning and Early Childhood Development. And with that is the wrap-up. A couple of these organizations are FDA-funded pediatric accelerators. The Trailblazer team has been tremendous. This product was invented in Ohio, designed in Ohio, will be manufactured in Ohio, and with that, I'll take questions.
Yes.